Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about masculine and feminine energy and specifically how you can become the master of both, because I think success in life, business, relationships, money, health, wisdom, everything, it isn't just understanding the difference between these two energies, the masculine energy being this do energy, get it done, goal orientated, tick it off, and this B energy being this beautiful receiving wisdom, intuitive, creative, just literally existing energy. They're such beautiful energies. You've got to understand the difference between them, but you've also got to be the master at switching between these energies. And I'll just give you this in a nutshell. I know in the morning, if I wake up and I do a to-do list, very much bullet point what I've got to do, and I think about my goals and the actions I've got to take, that's do energy. It doesn't just focus me and energize me, it actually satisfies my need for that container, that drive, that guidance, that structure. Then if I sit and do some creative writing or some journaling or some free flow words, it doesn't just help me to feel like I've said what I want to say and to process my thoughts. It satisfies that need in me to just be present and still and to see what's coming through. And when both of those are taken care of, you can actually go through your day. And I want to say produce, but it isn't just that, because the whole point of this is to be able to produce and live your life. And I think that is success. So today's episode is actually the first 3 videos of this month's membership content. So I have this membership program and it's all about the mindset and the healing and the thought process that goes into success, especially as an online entrepreneur. I'm going to share the content that I put into the membership this month because I think it's really good, really relevant. I think you'll enjoy it and it'll be a great way for you to see some of the other stuff I do that I don't always publish. So if you enjoy this, please drop me a comment, let me know. And if you're interested in joining the membership, I'm going to put the details below. It's pretty banging. For now, I'll see you on the other side. Hello everybody, welcome back to the membership. This month I want to talk to you about how you get more stuff done that matters, and in particular how you overcome the overwhelm, because in this world we are rated and rewarded for what we can produce. And I know that people in this membership, they're not here just to feel better or just to heal. They're here because they've got a project that they want to bring to the world and they probably want to make a living doing it. So that means we've got to get really good at producing things, at producing outcomes. But I want to tell you a caveat that I truly understand and I think you'll recognize. To be successful in this world, you have to produce things of value at scale, right? So to make loads of money, to help loads of people, to have a big following, whatever we think success is these days in those external commercial metrics, we've got to get good at producing things that people will buy. We've got to make sure they're valuable and we've got to do it at scale, right? When you're purpose-led, that isn't enough. It's not enough just to whack things out and have them be good and have them be successful. We want it to feel in alignment and we want to feel good about it, and it's got to feel like art and a little piece of us and a piece of our spirit and our magic out in the world. Just tell me in the comments if I'm right or wrong about that. That is how I feel. I feel like there's stuff I could sell, there's loads of stuff I could position. I just can't do it. I don't want to do it. I'm here to make art and I want to get paid for that art. That's how I feel. And even sitting here today in this little office with my little filming bits set up, it feels like making a piece of art. And today I want to talk to you about how I balance those things, that commercial reality of outputting stuff, and create an energy and a vibe of producing art, but actually sustain myself while I do it. So it's a complicated topic, but as we get into it, I think you're going to understand why it's so important to think of it this way, and I'll share with you the elements in just a second. But first, let me give you some context. It strikes me that we're trying to put things out in the world. So the membership content, building your social media, writing your book, finishing that project, whatever it is. Now here's the thing, if we want to write a book, say a best-selling book, we want to produce a membership and have 100 people in that membership, or we want to build an online course and sell it to 1,000 people, or we want 100,000 followers on Instagram, if they're our goals, not only do we need to build the skills and get good at that, which is hard enough in itself because you don't get paid to build those skills, you're doing it in and around life and sustaining yourself, that's tricky. But then the other thing is, it overwhelms your nervous system. It overwhelms the capacity you have for doing difficult things. And when I say difficult things, I mean working beyond your comfort zone all of the time, working in uncertainty all of the time, putting yourself out there and feeling vulnerable all of the time. That's what it feels like to create a piece of art that you want to be seen and want to be appreciated and put it out in the world. That compounded over weeks, months, years is very overwhelming to our nervous systems. And if you pair it with this, it becomes near impossible to handle. If you pair it with project started, sort of finished, not quite launched, project started, sort of tried it, was scared to put it out there, project started, changed my mind, found my purpose, pivoted. If you do that over and over again and you never see it all the way through and enjoy the benefits of what you've actually produced and get some of the commercial value back for what you've produced, what I really mean to say there is actually get paid to invest in new stuff and take the pressure off and to feel rewarded and to feel like it's working, that depletes and drains and pulls energy from us that isn't being replenished. And I know this because I've been through this cycle so many times. So you might have seen me say this on social media, but this year I've made this commitment that I am a finisher, not a starter. And it came about because years ago when I was 21, so that is 17 years ago, that's disgusting. 17 years ago, I did this Myers-Briggs Insight Clarity 4D type profile. And one of the first sentences it said in the profile is, Lisa is a starter, not a finisher. These words, you've probably heard me say them a couple times. I think they've haunted me. I think they've haunted me because every time I went to start a project, I heard that sentence in my mind and it almost felt like a punishment or a limiter on the fact I was even beginning a project. But do you know that beginning a project is a beautiful, creative, internal act of art? It is so important to start new projects and to bring whatever is inside you out into the world. It is so important, and I'm going to explain why in just a second. But every time I went to start those projects, I heard this voice that said, oh, another project that you won't finish. And so this year I said, you know what? I'm going to be a finisher this year and not a starter. I haven't really started any new projects. I've been finishing and tying off every single promise I made to myself in the last 2 years, maybe even 3 years. So let's just pause for a second. I'm going to put these questions in the worksheet, but I want you to ask yourself, first of all, what are the promises you've made to yourself that you haven't quite finished, that are hanging over you or slowing you down, or you just feel guilt or regret or worry or concern about? And when you come to work on those projects, or you come to start a new project and move your life forward towards your vision in alignment with your goals and your magic, what is that little sentence you hear, that little story that comes up? So I'll give you an example and then I'll let you do this. Projects for me would be, write that second book, Lisa, like you said you were gonna, years ago. Projects for me would be renovating this house. They're new promises, but like actually finishing things and polishing them off. Projects for me would be, oh, this is a funny one, maybe telling people about the membership. I mean, instead of just keeping it this little secret for us lot who are in here, actually putting it on social media and telling people about it. There's a little cheeky promise I've made to myself that I just have not followed through on in any way, shape or form. Other projects have been this new workbook I was working on, the course straight line through, but also like a mini version of the course, and building a brand new proper funnel, social media, being consistent with that social media. And come to think of it, I've got other promises around being a better partner. I want to provide more. I want to do more in our relationship. I want to plan more. I want to contribute more. That's really personal to me. I really mean that. Holidays, I want more holidays. I've opened a promise to myself around saving for our investment properties. I really want to build that portfolio. There's one more I was going to say, another promise that I thought of. Did I say holidays? There's one more, I'm sure there is. It'll come to me. So these are all the projects that are open in my life, all of the promises that I've made to myself or said out loud that I maybe haven't finished and haven't seen through. So this year's been the year where I've just written those projects down and I've put them in order and said, Lisa, tick them off one by one and just sit in the smug celebratory energy of having done it and being a finisher, not just a starter. So there's some examples on the projects. And then when I ask you, what is that sentence that you hear? I always hear, Lisa's a starter, not a finisher. Not true. I'm a finisher, not a starter. So press pause and offload off your brain right now all those open projects, all those open promises, and what is the sentence, the hesitation, the niggle, the fear, the worry, the story that comes up that affects the way you even think about them. Okay, I said I would explain why this is so important. Something has twigged for me, and this membership is blummin' amazing, because it makes me do something so special. It makes me think, but it's deeper than thinking. It makes me heal, because I can't show up and share stuff that I've read in books. It doesn't work. You would feel it and you would know it. Hopefully you're seeing that in the membership. What I share is things that I'm understanding because I'm on the journey. So I want to venture that it's more wisdom than things that I'm learning, but I am learning a lot as well from books, from my degree, from life, from clients. And something that has just twigged for me recently is how important masculine and feminine energy are. And I'm just going to share a couple of complications with this and my little nuance on it, and just see what you think of this, okay? There's quite a bit of talk about feminine, masculine energy, and you might already have heard these two things that are more obvious than what I'm about to say. First one is, it's not about being male or female. All of us have masculine energy and feminine energy within us, but we probably tend to sit in one energy or another. The other obvious thing that you've probably heard is they need to be in balance, they need to be in unity, and masculine energy attracts feminine energy and feminine energy attracts masculine energy. I'll give you a headline of what these two energies are, and I'm just going to flash up a little table on the screen here so you can see. Masculine energy, in a nutshell, is do energy. It's the energy that gets it done, that powers through, that plows on. It's an energy of structure, it's an energy of consistency, it's an energy of discipline, it's an energy of order, it's a drive energy. It's like, oh, you need that doing? No worries. Ta-da! It's done. But I also think masculine energy is a container energy, and it provides a level of safety and security. Yeah, like a container is a really great word for it, that allows feminine energy to unfold and develop and expand within that safe, boundaried container, because feminine energy is an energy of being, of just being. And it's a beautiful, present, creative, intuitive energy. And I think it comes from within, and it's an expression. So it's a really lovely creative energy. But the other side of feminine energy is this beautiful, nurturing, nourishing, feeding energy. And I love that. So here's what has twigged for me. I've often said I sit very heavily in my masculine energy, and guys, it's not actually true. I sit in both of those energies equally, but a lot of my clients don't see the feminine energy, because when my clients come to me, they come to me with their creativity, with their dreams, with their ideas, with their insecurities, with their questions. They come to me in a very deep feminine energy. If I was to meet them in feminine energy, we would absolutely get nowhere. We'd have a chit chat. Instead, I've got to meet them in masculine energy, and I've got to turn up and say, okay, let's think about the vision. How do we break this into goals? What are the projects around that? What do the daily habits look like? Okay, what are you going to do when? And what I provide for people all of the time in this membership as well is structure, is consistency, is direction. It's breaking things down, helping them to land, and adding a sense of urgency to the project. So like, let's get this done, let's meet at this time. And it's a container that I'm creating for people to be able to be creative and inventive and lean in their own intuition. And I think that's amazing and beautiful. Now, when I switch off from client calls, I'm a person, a very spiritual person, and I love making things. I want to make videos, workbooks, I want to write books, I want to paint, I want to renovate the house, I want to style it. For me, that's all feminine energy. It's expression, it's being, it's truth, it's unfolding. And I know I'm mixing it a little bit here, because what I've realised that I am really good at, and I want to ask you to reflect on this, what I'm really good at is I'm going to be bold and say I don't need anybody. I don't need anybody to create that masculine container for me, because I've become so good at creating it for myself. Let's start with military boarding school, moved every 2 years as a kid, and then having built these businesses and realising now that every time I give money to somebody else, it's not so much that they help me, they just give me confidence that I already knew what I knew that I knew. So what I've realised recently is how good I am at providing structure in my life. I structure my weeks, I structure my days, I write to-do lists, I break projects down, I build funnels, I allocate time. And what happens is when I allocate that time and ring fence that time, say I've got today to film this membership stuff, I don't have to sit down in masculine energy and be like, right, here's what I'm going to film, and Lisa, you're going to get it done. The masculine energy took care of the filming day, it set the cameras up, it built the membership, it gave me a deadline. That's the masculine energy. The feminine energy in me is the fact that I have this whole piece of paper, this is the notes for this entire month. And from there, I'm going to share, release, create the magic in this spontaneous moment of feminine energy. How magical is that? So if you're thinking, Lisa, I see what you're saying, what does that mean for me? What it means for you is, we want to try and find ways to create balance in our own lives with feminine and masculine energy. And again, it doesn't matter what your gender is. This is about creating containers for yourself to create the security, to create the deadline, to create the box that you can sit in safely and say, oh, I feel structured, I feel safe, I've got direction, I know what I'm doing. Let me now tip on over into my beautiful feminine energy to actually let the creation unfold. And that is what we're going to talk about in the next few videos. So we've got the structure that we can create to help ourselves feel safe, sorted, on track, driven. All of that's going to tick the box for our masculine energy, and how we get into flow, how we relax, how we get present. It even feels softer to talk about that so that we can actually produce. There is one more thing, which is the whole narrative that goes around this that I haven't got quite enough to make a video on because I've said it so many times in the other videos, so I'm going to weave it into both of the videos as we go. Alright, excited? I hope so. I will see you in the next video. Okay, let's start by thinking about how we create this masculine energy and how we satisfy our need for masculine energy so that we can let our creative energy flow. And notice the language that I'm saying there. I'm saying we need to satisfy that desire within us to have this masculine energy. How many times in a day, just listen to this, how many times in a day do you wish somebody would just give you the answer, or tell you what to do, or sit you at your desk and direct you? I think it's why we like having coaches and mentors and books even, and videos and structures like this. We hope that somebody's going to say, this is the answer, this is the map, this is the route. Now I want you to go and sit down and do it. There are so many times in my day when I wish someone would just solve the problem for me, or fix the issue that I've got, or if I'm honest, even just provide for me in a way that I want to be provided for. Because truth be told, I would love to sit and just create all day. I would love it, because we've got a deep rooted need to express. But in order to express creatively, to make things, to create beautiful environments, in order to do that, we have to feel safe, and we have to feel like there's a structure around us. So you've got two options at this point. The first option is to go seeking that structure in somebody else. It can be a partner. And again, it doesn't have to be a man or a woman. Like, a woman can provide that masculine energy in a relationship. She can absolutely do that. What happens when there's two women in a relationship? Somebody does tend to take the more masculine energy, driving things through, setting goals for the family, creating structure for the family, and somebody tends to take the more nurturing, creative role. Not always. I think there's an amazing balance in mine and Lucy's relationship where sometimes I'm very much driving in that masculine energy, and then sometimes I'm in that beautiful feminine energy. But you've got to be aware of it, because if you're both seeking masculine and you're both in feminine, that creates a problem, that creates a conflict, doesn't it? When nobody's getting the support and structure or nurture, love that they need. So the first option is to go seeking it in somebody else, a partner, a coach, a manager. Do you know a job gives you the structure and the direction that you're craving in entrepreneurship? In entrepreneurship, we think, oh, it's too hard, it's too messy, I'm overwhelmed, oh, I'm going to get a job. Because a job gives you security, a schedule, a container, structure. Here's your to-do list for the day. Makes sense, doesn't it? So that's your first option. Get that support, container, masculine energy externally. I don't know if this is really controversial, let me know if it is. Your second option is to create that container for yourself. So what does this mean? I think it means a few things. I think first of all, it means actually setting goals for your life, writing down goals that are realistic. There is nothing more depressing than writing down a stupid goal that you were never ever gonna push for, you didn't have the capacity to deliver on. Things weren't lined up in your life, you didn't fully believe in it. You could set a stupid goal if you really think you're going to go for it and do it, but you've got to set a goal where you think, you know, if these are my goals for the year, I actually think if I apply myself and really work at these things and allow a bit of magic to come in, I think I could pull these off. So the first thing is we've got to set goals, proper goals, time bound, by month or by quarter, clear outcomes where we're like, yeah, that's what I'm going to produce. The second thing is we've got to allocate time to these goals. So it's no good saying I'm going to write a book and then work a full-time job, build a business on the side, be a full-time parent, train for a marathon, and then think, I don't know why my book didn't get written. I just seem to run out of time. It's a masculine energy to go into your diary and go, okay, every Friday, no calls. That time is clear for writing. It's a masculine energy to decide, I want to work 30 minutes a day on my book every morning. So I'm going to set my alarm for 5 a.m. and I'm going to get up, half an hour cup of tea, bit of meditation, and I'm going to do half an hour of writing. The meditation and the writing is the feminine creative flow energy. The alarm and the discipline and that structure and that allocated time is the masculine energy. Are you seeing it? So if you want to change your life and get some of these projects done, you've got to first of all set the goals, let them be realistic, give yourself a chance. Then you've got to go into your diary and allocate the time. And then there's one more thing that you've got to do. The third thing that you've got to do is put some structure in place that makes it safe for you to get into your feminine creative flow energy. So this is what you don't want to do. You don't want to go, right, I've done all my actions for the day. Okay, I've got 30 minutes to create this video for the membership. Right, okay, sit down. And in that anxious, pressured, I didn't have time and I didn't structure this properly energy, how are you ever going to feel safe and in flow and creative and pull on your intuition and connect with that deeper part of yourself? It's not going to happen, is it? And you might have experienced that moment where you're like, oh, I've set everything up and I'm sitting down and now creativity isn't coming. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to tap into that feminine energy and that flow and that creativity. But right now we're thinking about how we create the safe environment so that we can actually do it. So we've got the goals and the projects broken down. Next, we've allocated actual time to let this happen. The third thing we've got to do is think about how we create safety around ourselves so that we can sit in our feminine energy and create. So that's a really personal question because safety means something different to everybody else. I'm filming right now. It's a Friday, it's half term. Lucy knows this about me. I want to do the filming. This afternoon we're going up to Tynemouth to get an ice cream. Someone's turned a telephone box into an ice cream parlour. So we're going to walk the dogs on the beach, go get an ice cream, have this beautiful day. I literally can't wait to go and do that and spend time with her. But the deal is, for me and for her, that I want to get the filming done first. So what she's done without me asking is she's gone out of the house. She said, when are you filming? And I said, exactly at this time, 12 p.m. I'm going to begin. So she's gone out to pick something up, drop something off, go see her mum, and she's taken her Kindle with her. So I've texted her already, first video done. So I don't feel safe filming in the house if someone else can hear me because it makes me feel vulnerable and exposed, like they can see the creative process or they're going to hear what I'm saying. And sometimes when I'm creating these videos, there's an element of wanting to riff and just say what comes up. Like I wasn't going to share that story, but it's just come up and it's hyper relevant. So for me to feel safe, I need to be in a quiet environment. I can't have the pressure of a phone call like in an hour. I need the time unfolding ahead of me in case I need to film again or anything like that. But I also need the house to be quiet and I don't need anybody listening in until I'm ready to share. Because what you're seeing is the final cut, but there's other bits, mistakes, bits I cut out, first attempts that I deleted that don't go out. I don't have to share all of my drafts. I get to share the polished version. It's the same in the house. I don't have to share my drafts. I get to share the polished version. So that's security to me. Another thing that feels like security to me is always having a plan for making money. So I don't want to affirm this by saying it, but like I'm not a millionaire. I don't have loads of properties kicking in this recurring income and things like that. I'm an online business coach and I run courses and programs and memberships, but it's not like I can just sit back and leave it and it just replenishes. I have to work for that. I have to create content. I have to run launches. I have to show up. I have to add value. I have to actually go out and sell these programs. Do you think I could sit here as relaxed as I am, having a laugh, filming, being creative, just saying what comes up, and be panicked about how I'm going to make my money next month? Those two things conflict entirely. So this is a very specific thing for me to say, but in order for me to feel safe and secure in my creativity and in my creation, I have to have had the discipline leading up to this moment to have created safety and security for myself. And that safety and security is in my sales process, my marketing, my business development. So long before I get to this moment, I'm ticking things off, I'm getting things done, I'm doing my business development, and that makes me feel safe. That might be the same for you, and you might be twigging right now, hang on, I've got a few things I need to do here to create more safety and security. But your safety and security could be, you might have an arrangement with your partner where they are the provider financially, phenomenal. Or you might not have that and you might have a job. Or you might not have that, you might be struggling to create it in your business. Then you've got to look at getting a job or making your money in an easier way so that you can support yourself, feel secure to tip into your feminine energy. So I've already said so much, and in the next video we're going to talk about the feminine energy side of things. But before we move on, I want you to take a look at the worksheet for this month, because what I've done is sat in my masculine energy and created, I think there's about 8 different templates that you can use to structure your life and structure your time. So what I want you to do is really think about what your goals are, how you're going to give yourself that direction, how you're going to create time to actually do these goals, and how you're going to create containers and safety and security for yourself so that when you do sit down, you're not in panic and you're not in masculine energy, you're sitting in a safe container with direction, so you know exactly what you're doing and exactly what you've got to create in that moment with the freedom to actually do it. Alright, now let's talk about that feminine energy, that flow, that creativity, that intuition, and specifically how we get into that. And I think this is fascinating because, again, big revelation for me this month. I know, or thought, that I always sat in my masculine energy all the time, because I had the wrong idea of what feminine energy was. And I'm so interested in your insights and feedback on this if you have another angle on it. But I have held a belief that feminine energy is associated with dance and freedom and moving your body, and that doesn't feel comfortable to me. It makes me feel unsafe, it makes me feel vulnerable, and it makes me feel judged. And I don't even know why, and it doesn't even matter for the purposes of this month. We'll tackle that another time. I don't like it. So I had this belief that because I'm not that way, or there are other women who are more naturally in their feminine energy all of the time, that I don't have feminine energy, or that I don't tap into my feminine energy. And you know what, guys? That is absolute BS. It's not true. I sit in my feminine energy all of the time. I cook lovely, delicious meals and bake cakes for my family, nurturing, feeding, bringing people together, just being. That is a beautiful feminine energy. I journal all of the time. Journaling has no purpose or point really other than to unload, unless you're bullet journaling. How masculine, to bullet journal your outcomes, which I also do. But if you're sitting and you're just doing like your morning pages, for example, and you're just writing and unloading, you're present, there's no purpose, it's a free flow. All of these words resonate with this idea of feminine energy. I do that every single day. Do you know what else is feminine energy? Going in nature, going for a walk and stopping and actually smelling a flower. I do that all the time. It might be funny to imagine, but thank God those roses look insane. I've actually leant over someone's fence before and thought, very nice, enjoyed that, thank you so much. Being in nature is feminine energy. I think sitting and having a cuddle with your dog is feminine energy. There's other things like, you know, if you went to a pottery class and you're creating with your hands and molding something, you know, from this clay, feminine energy. Meditation, feminine energy. Singing, I mean dance, obviously I've mentioned that example. There are so many examples of feminine energy that don't require you to stand up and dance and hit the image of what it feels like to be in feminine energy. I also feel like feminine energy is that moment where you're writing and you lose track of time and you're just saying something and you're like, oh, this feels really good, this really if you're not even feeling because you're just in the moment. That's feminine energy. And it's been a really beautiful moment of recognition for me this month, because it feels like I'm more in balance. I feel calmer for that realization, even though I was embodying that realization. Somehow I needed to bring it to my consciousness to justify something and feel like, oh yeah, masculine energy, feminine energy. But I have to be clear from that first video and say, the reason I feel safe baking a cake on a Friday afternoon or sitting down to do some writing or filming some videos is because the masculine energy within me is very well attuned, and it's created insane structure. If I had to think about something I have to work on, I don't think it would be more structure, more discipline, more drive. I think I'm all right there. I think it's about more peace and stillness and enjoyment and being energy, which is so beautiful, because the membership is be the person who does the thing. But really now I'm thinking it's be the person, feminine energy unfold, who does the thing. Masculine energy container holding that unfolding. So this one's a very short video because I feel like I've covered so many of the topics already. So let me say two things before we finish up. The first one is, I want you to really think about what masculine energy is for you and what feminine energy is for you, and how you balance both of them in your life. Look at how you're already doing it, how you're already sitting in them. Look at the balance and see if it feels right to you, if you want to tip more into your masculine or more into your feminine for, I was going to say to move your life forward, but equally to not. To actually enjoy. So again, this structure today of having this allocated time, setting things up, having the container of my office even, Lucy going out for a couple of hours, me getting to sit here and share these really personal, vulnerable, true and very of the moment stories with you, is giving me the balance of the masculine and the feminine. This afternoon, I'm going to down tools, switch everything off, and we're going to go for a walk on the beach. Nature, feminine energy. I'm going to connect with Lucy, beautiful feminine energy, and then we're going to have ice cream. Would ice cream be feminine energy? I feel like it is. It's indulgent, it's enjoying, it's experiencing life. So the feminine energy bit is like, yeah, create and share and unfold and nurture. But the feminine energy is also down tools and like have a whole day or afternoon in your diary without an agenda, without a purpose. So in your diary, I do this now and it's so valuable to me. If I have had too many calls where I'm in my masculine energy too much, too long, too heavy, by the end of the week I'm irritable, I'm tired, I'm sad, it's heavy, and I think, oh, I don't want this, is too much, is too heavy. So now towards the end of the week, Thursday, Fridays, I don't really have calls, and I'm trying to put more things in with Lucy where I think, right, get your work done, okay, then you can have a day to catch up, tidy things up, and then you're off. And that is feminine energy, just being present, just experiencing life, going out and enjoying the world. So that's the first thing. Reflect on what feminine, masculine energy is for you. Look at the balance and think about what it means to you to get more in that feminine, to create, to share, to lean in your intuition. Is it a meditation practice? Is it going to pottery classes? Is it joining a choir, a dance group? Is it more time in nature? What is that for you? And then the second thing is, I don't know how to say this very well, but it's something along the lines of, do it. Do that actual thing. Don't just write about it and think about it and journal on it. Actually go and live your life and live in more joy and just see what magic will happen. And in fact, there was one more thing I wanted to say. I said right at the start in the intro videos that we've got the masculine energy, feminine energy, but there's also the narrative around it. Probably what you can see from the way that I'm talking and what I'm sharing with you is the narrative I have around what productivity looks like, what success looks like, what masculine and feminine energy is. That narrative is changing and evolving for me. So I want you to just reflect as well as you read the worksheet and go on this journey this month and the Sunday Live, all of that, and really think about what your story is around the work that you do and what it means to be he, she, non-binary. I say that because that's a thing for me, especially in a gay relationship. What does it mean to be a woman in a gay relationship? What role do I play? And you might say, Lisa, you don't have to play a role, you just have to be yourself. That is true, but I also have to be conscious that if two women sit in their feminine energy all day, every day, we might not get anywhere. We have to think about the roles that we play and who takes the lead on projects like the house, like income, like the food shop, like nurturing, food, nutrition, whatever. I think sometimes if you just bring it to the surface, get conscious of it, you can find more balance just around the narrative of it. Interesting, eh? So I hope you've enjoyed this month. Very raw, very hot off the press. You will see an evolution of these ideas in a more structured way in the old chapter and the worksheet. So enjoy. And if you want a little bit more, don't forget there's a Sunday Live replay you can tap into for a more live and relaxed discussion of these ideas. I hope you've enjoyed. Over and out.